I just sent the link to you, Tracy.
All right.
I just sent the link to you, Tracy.
All right. All right, let me just go verify. Okay, you're good to go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Taylor, you have a quorum. You're good to start your meeting.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order and just please know that any comments by the public are welcome, or they can be emailed to publiccomment@lsbme.la.gov. And I'll ask Dr. Collada, would you please confirm that you verified the identity of all the tele and video conference participants?
Yes, Taylor, we have confirmed.
Great. Is the sound clear and audible to the public and those on the tele and video conference?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, at this point, all additions to the executive or public agenda must be made presently, as we will no longer make additions to the agenda after the close of the public session. So does anybody have any additions they wanted to make to the agenda?
Taylor, we're gonna dovetail into the injection issue. We have some suggestions from the investigations department regarding some issues relative to injections, but I think it's probably kind of covered under the open meetings law already, but I just wanted to let you know we're gonna do that.
Sure, sure. Okay, if there's no further comment, we're gonna go and do the roll call. So I guess we'll go in alphabetical order. This is myself, Taylor Arbor, and also is the other members of the Acupuncture Advisory Committee present. We'll start with Ashley Miller.
I am here.
And then Donald Snow.
Here.
And Valerie Vioska.
Here.
And so I do believe, as Dr. Collada said, that gives us a quorum to go ahead and proceed.
And let me introduce some people that are here today with us. You may remember Miss Tracy Morrow. She's with us for technical support. Susie Allen, our Director of Education and Research, is going to be talking to you about the rules courses for you all. And I have Lawrence Sudduth, our new attorney with us in the agency. And in my office with me is Ms. Carol from Investigations, who will be talking about the issue relative to issues of injections. So thank you all very much for allowing us to host this meeting and get it done.
Oh, yes, and thank you.
Can you all see that document on the screen?
Yes, I see that.
Yes.
Okay, that's your agenda.
Yeah, we can see it.
And at this time, you have no public comments that have come in by email, sir.
No, I've not. Did everyone receive the write-up of the minutes from our last meeting?
I did.
Yes, I did.
I sent it to Olivia this morning.
Okay, good.
Taylor, all you need to do is have a vote on the meeting minutes, and if there's any changes, let me know and I can make those before y'all vote.
Okay, so given that everyone's had a chance to review the minutes, did anybody have any changes they wanted to suggest?
I did not.
No, I do not.
No.
In that case, I move that we vote to approve the minutes as they've been provided to us at this point. All in favor, say aye.
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 I myself. Any opposed? In that case, we'll approve the minutes as they've been provided to us at this point. I see the first agenda item listed under new business is the information regarding a laws and rules course, and it looks like Susie Allen will be providing us with that information.
So I'm just going to speak very briefly and then leave the meeting because unfortunately I have a commitment at 5 o'clock. But one of the things that I do is to write laws and rules courses for all of our different licensee groups, and we do this obviously as sort of a measure to make sure that new people read the rules and are familiar with them. And we also use these rules courses sometimes just in general. We encourage people to take them as free, free CE or CME. And on occasion, when there's a board action against a license and they have a consent order, sometimes part of what they have to do for remediation is to review the rules and take the course. And that, I'm speaking for just, various of our licensee groups. And I have written a first draft of your course, and we'll probably ask CE Broker, which is where these courses reside. They're free. And they're free to take, and you can take them once a year. I'm about to ask them to put it up, but Val and I have been talking about the course and some quiz questions. And the way these things are formatted is there's a little pre-test or pre-quiz with some feedback, and then you read the different rules and laws and anything else that's in there, and then you take a sort of this. Essentially, it's a pre-test, post-test kind of format. I get the sense from conversations with Val and other people that there are going to be a lot of changes to the rules. And when those happen, we will change the course. But in the meantime, we kind of have to put this course up because we have created, a new procedure, which has always existed for the physician, but is now the case for all of our licensees, that before your first renewal, if you're a new licensee, before your first renewal, you have to take a laws and rules course for your profession. And so we've just sort of instituted this formally for the rest of our licensees. So I want to get this course up so that anybody who's renewing in December can take it. It's, it's going to be quick. Your rules are fairly short, but it's important. So I wanted to let you all know this is happening, and I want to make sure we abide by open meetings, law and ourselves. And I may send each of you individually, a note asking you to submit something to me if you have a scenario-based question for the quiz, but you can't sort of discuss amongst yourselves, or that would not meet the requirements of the open meeting law. But if any of you have a scenario-based question that you would like to share with me that we could use, a lot of times for different practitioner groups, we'll have something, such and such happens, are you in violation of the Practice Act for your, for your licensee group, true, false? Or, what is the best thing to do in this situation, that kind of thing. And your rules are, smaller, so there aren't as many things at this point that I can test people on. But we are going to have, version 1 of this going up soon. Do you all have any questions about this?
No, that's very
not.
straightforward for me.
Okay, well, I just wanted to introduce myself so that if you got an email from me asking you for something, you'd know, who on earth I am and why I'm asking you. So anyway, with that, I will probably leave here, but you will probably hear from me via email tomorrow.
Great. Thank you, Susie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susie.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on, want to talk about insurance?
Yeah, I believe one of the members of the committee had some questions about some of the interactions they've been having with the some of the state carriers lately.
Yes, that would be me. I've gotten credentialed with all the carriers out there, including the VA. And for some reason, the Blue Cross Blue Shield is no longer honoring our scope of practice. Indeed, they said they're not honoring the MD scope of practice either, as far as physical medicine is concerned. They're saying only a licensed physical therapist can get paid, reimbursed for physical medicine. Doesn't matter if it's in your scope of practice, doesn't matter whether you're an MD, chiropractor, doesn't matter. And in our licensure law, it says that we are not to be discriminated against. Individual license to provide by individual license to perform acupuncture prohibits terminology in a policy or contract deemed discriminatory against any person or method of practice. And it states this in a number of places, but not limited to the manner of payment or reimbursement under this policy. And it seems that they are not obeying the law, or that's my understanding and my attorney's understanding.
Well, Donald, tell me are they not paying for acupuncture at all?
Oh, they're paying for acupuncture, but only acupuncture. Doesn't matter what other scope of practice that we have within the acupuncture law, we can't get paid for it. And our medicine is not just acupuncture, just like a surgeon or an MD is not only a surgeon or a physiatrist or whatever. We all have scope of practice in our laws.
Okay.
Well, this is a little out of my wheelhouse. I'm not sure what private insurance carriers are or are not allowed to do under the law. I know the physical medicine codes are codes I get reimbursed for from the VA. However, the VA mentions in each referral they send me explicitly that they will reimburse me for. I mean, they list all the different modalities that they include, and I just offer that. That's the only familiarity I have with anything along these lines.
All the other insurances do not do this. Only Blue Cross Blue Shield. All the rest of them, like the VA, pay for our scope of practice.
Well, again, your definition of your scope of practice is in section 1356 of the rules.
Yeah.
And it talks about everything that you can and cannot do. Yeah. And my question to you is, we can only reinforce by giving them the rules, but really that is an issue that your advocacy group could probably take up with the Blue Cross Blue Shield of Louisiana, because quite frankly, we don't get in that kind of this issue. We don't practice law. And B, I mean, this is something outside. We can tell them that you're able to do that. We can show them the law and rules. But again, that's all we can do. We don't get involved. So do you all have an advocacy group and an association?
We did. We don't anymore. We dissolved it.
Oh.
It's
like we're an unofficial advocacy group. It's just when we get together like this under the advisory committee is what we've kind of came about with recently. over the last couple of years since we dissolved.
Well, has anybody thought maybe to go to, a couple of y'all going to see the incoming Commissioner of Insurance?
That was what I was thinking about doing next, but I thought about going through this group first. I don't know how the MDs would handle this if they suddenly found themselves cut out of something. I didn't know whether they would be going through the board here, or I don't know how y'all would handle it.
Well, again, it's not that we don't want to, we're not allowed to practice law, so we can't really get involved in that. If there's a clarifying bill in the legislature, we could give information about that, but we really don't get involved in the issue of what the insurance company pays or doesn't pay. We get involved in the licensing and regulation of the provider, but not of the insurance company, and the insurance companies are regulated by the Commissioner of Insurance.
Okay, Commissioner of Insurance.
Yes.
Again, I'll just offer a small amount of personal experience I have with that. Several years ago, I ran into a problem with some workers' comp that they had, given me the equivalent of a prior authorization to see one of their policy holders, and then they weren't paying me. But I was able to interface directly myself with the insurance commissioner and was able to achieve a resolution there, just with my interaction with the insurance commissioner.
Yeah,
That,
pretty good.
that's what's going to happen here too. I tried contacting Blue Cross. They won't even talk to me. Just totally brush me off. So I guess that's what I'll do.
Well, that is what happened to me with this workers' comp entity as well. But I'll tell you, I guess as soon as I get a letter from that insurance commissioner, things start happening.
Did you talk to him personally or write a letter?
I wrote a letter.
Okay.
But it was a very responsive office I was interfacing with at that time.
Okay. Well, I hope the new one is just as responsive, because that's what we'll do. Thank you.
Sure thing.
So tell us about injection therapy. What's the next issue?
I was wondering if that's something we could get put into our rules, or do we have to go through legislation and put it in the Practice Act?
Define injection therapy, please.
Oh, did I? Okay, I sent y'all. It's when you inject. I just term it as like ultra high dilution botanical agents, homeopathic substances, B12 injection vitamins, and we do it into the acupuncture points to achieve a therapeutic response. So a B12 injection in stomach 36, the point right below the knee that we use for immune system and balancing the chi. It's just makes a B12 injection more effective would be one way to term that. But it's in the scope of practice in it's like 12 or 13 states, maybe 14 states at this point. And I was just wondering if we started, if we wanted to get that put in, because the reason why I'm bringing this up is otherwise the PTs or the chiropractors are going to start putting it into their scope of practice too. And that's what happened with dry needling. So in one sense, I'm trying to beat them to the punch, to be quite honest.
Well, Val, we need to get a lot more information before we can comment on that at all.
Yeah, that's fine.
Again, when you do subcutaneous injections of medication, chemical substance, if you're administering a medication, we tend to look upon that as allopathic medicine, and we probably need to sit down and get a good, clear picture of everything you want to do and what you want to do, so we can make sure we can put it together in such a way that it doesn't violate the issues of what acupuncture is.
Yes, I understand.
Because your basic definition talks about points on the surface of the body predetermined And you use application of heat or electrical stim to such points or points for the purpose of inducing anesthesia. And again, I think we just have to sit down and figure out how that will go in the concept of what is the practice of medicine by injecting substances, whether they be vitamins or herbal or whatever. And how deep do you inject? Are these going to be intramuscular?
Some subcutaneous, intramuscular, intradermal, into the, the acupuncture points. You can needle, you can do it with trigger points. So.
Well, we need to get all that cleared up and put together a full set of definitions for that, because I don't want to promise you anything, but it could be somewhat controversial.
It probably will be. That's why I figured I'd just bring it up now and see how controversial it is. And if it's too controversial, we'll drop it. So,
well, Val, I'm willing to do anything. We need to get it clearly defined, show it to the board, see if the board's comfortable with it. But until we get our plan together and know exactly what we're doing, I think we need to make sure we get it defined clearly.
yes.
What and how.
Okay.
I think we can. Yeah.
That brings us to another issue about needles, cleanliness, intradermal needle, whether that needle goes subdermal or intramuscular or wherever it goes. And we've had some problems, and how do I want to say this? I think anybody would understand that we have to have good needle safety. We have to good aseptic technique, but it appears that some of the people in your community with whom we've had complaints about say, well, it's not in our rules, I don't have to do it. And I think two things we probably ought to do is A, put some stuff in the rules. And what I'm going to tell you is I have Miss Carol, who is with our investigations department, that wants to talk to you about adding something to the rules. And then I want you all to know that, and I want you to welcome Miss Carol, because what Miss Carol is going to do is also, I think, maybe we can make a bridge so that when they get these people who say, oh, I don't have to do that, it's not in the rules, you can say it is the accepted standard of practice to use aseptic technique, and the advisory committee on acupuncture recommends such and such. And that way we can kind of deal with the problem at hand and prevent the problem in the future. So Ms. Carol, why don't you give some comments?
Hi, everyone. So my name is Carol Chauvin, and I am an investigator for the board that handles any complaints that come in about acupuncture, licensed acupuncturists or ADS. And basically just wanted to talk to you guys about where we're coming from, is that the rules right now basically have one sentence about practice, and that it says that you can't have to be within the usual and prevailing accepted standards of care. There are some other boards that have that defined out a little bit more from the safety and cleanliness perspective, that you would have to use the clean needle technique, which I believe everybody, y'all are very familiar with, and that would be one of the standards of care, that there are a few more things that the patients need to have privacy to have any of their treatments done, especially if you're talking about moving into a hollow needle that would be injecting something. We would definitely want to get a little more rules about bloodborne pathogens, something like that on the explained out a little bit more in the rules, so that there's less confusion on what is and is not the accepted standard of care. So I had found one set of rules from the board in North Carolina that had addressed some of these things. And just if you guys are going to be opening up the rules in the future, we would ask that we consider adding some of this information as it would be, related to Louisiana laws and, you know, all of y'all's comments, on adding some of this information into the new rules. One of the things that we would be interested in would be like, surroundings that provide privacy and confidentiality. Some more details on how medical records need to be kept, specifically how consent needs to be obtained and medical records, for each visit, not just the first visit for the patients. You guys have any?
Y'all comfortable with that?
I am, and I also would just like to say it. I mean, I know it's not my place to apologize for this, but I'm just disappointed to hear there would be people trying to practice acupuncture and not already hold themselves to those standards, because what we do have in, I think, both the legislation and the rules is the necessity to pass these board exams from the NCCAOM, and all of this information is tested in those boards, and you have to demonstrate, you know, the knowledge that this is the standard of practice, and this is what you should be doing with every single patient all the time. I'm kind of surprised to hear somebody would try to be skirting by that. I don't know why they would. It's not a difficult accommodation to make, and in fact, I think it's something that's for the safety of the practitioner as much as the patient.
I thought we were all following these. We were all taught aseptic technique and clean needle technique in school. We had to have it to even take the boards. I'm very surprised myself.
Well, let me say this to you, by way of experience. I came here after 47 years of private practice, and I can tell you that once I never really understood why people didn't like doctors until I found that there's a small group of outliers that give us all a bad name. And these are the same kind of small group of outliers that are trying to give you all a bad name. So that's why I was wondering, it might be something we can put into rules in the future that, you know, these kind of issues can come to you all and y'all can make a ruling. And that way the board gets some help. And that way they're not acting in a vacuum, and somebody could say, oh, well, y'all are all doctors, you don't know anything about acupuncture. We could say, well, the Acupuncture Advisory Committee reviewed this complaint or this issue, and it recommended the following. So I think it's kind of for everybody's protection, but importantly for the profession and the public. And we charge to protect the public, and that's what we want to do.
I sort of thought that was part of our function anyway. I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah, I do as well. People should not be practicing acupuncture without following clean needle technique.
Yep, agreed. Definitely.
Agreed. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, Carol. And I think I talked with Susie about rewriting the rules a little bit for some of the things that came up with the questions with the rules that we talked about between us. And so we plan on going in that direction anyway. So I think this would also be an appropriate time to get a little bit more of a, you know, some more sentences of definitions of clean needle technique and universal precautions, etc.
That would be amazing.
Well, good, Val. Let me say this to you, Val. What I'd like to do is, this is obviously not the meeting, but you and I could probably sit down and put together a bullet point set of changes to the law, to the rules, and we can present it and have a meeting later on in the year in 24 and talk about it and start the process. I have to tell you that there are about 18 rules ahead of you, but we're going to try and get them all done as fast as we can.
Yeah, so, just within the year, right?
Yeah, I would hope so.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, and the last thing on the agenda is committee appointments. I put that on the agenda. We are required to have a physician acupuncturist as part of our advisory committee, and I did some searching around and I found a volunteer who would do it. His name is Michael Wiedemann. He is a gynecologist and obstetrician by trade. Yes, I've known him for many years. I knew his father, as did my dad knew his father. And I think the key here is that he is doing acupuncture for pelvic pain. And I think it would be a worthwhile addition to have him on the committee. If you guys agree, I'll get that done at the the meeting in December. But if you have a disagreement, or you want somebody else, let me know.
I'm fine.
That's perfectly fine with me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm good.
That
Yep.
sounds good. We had Marshall Gunn out of Baton Rouge is who we had listed, but we never heard from her. So, I mean, I guess she can be off, and then we can get this guy on. Would be the
I
direct.
believe Olivia mentioned that Marshall has herself asked to be removed.
Yeah,
Oh,
she did.
yeah.
She did email me.
Okay.
Because she has been completely non-participatory for sure.
Well, what
Yeah.
we'll do is, we'll present his CV and everything at the December meeting. And we'll get him appointed to the committee. And so as to any work we start taking on at the beginning of next year, he'll be involved in on the advisory committee. Thank you so much for that support for his appointment.
Absolutely.
Very
Yeah.
welcome. Oh, what happened? What happened?
We're done. I don't have anything else to do. There's no public comment.
Is there anything executive session that we need to talk about?
No, not at this time.
All right. Good.
All right, very good meeting.
Thank
Yeah,
y'all.
Dr. Van, I will just say if you ever come across anybody who's trying to skirt the rules on the acupuncture, you could just refer them to me. I'll be happy to speak with them.
Well, I wish we could be that informal, but we
I
can't.
understand. I understand.
All right.
Thank y'all. Thank
Thanks,
you again for
everybody.
listening to my-
Yes,
Thank
thank you. Thank you so much.
Glorious day. Bye-bye.
Thanks, bye-bye.
We need a motion to adjourn.
Oh. Yes.
Yeah, I'll move that we adjourn this meeting of the Acupuncture Advisory Committee.
And I
Yes.
second.
Third.
All right. Thank y'all very much.
All
Thank-
right.